Hello, everyone. Hello, welcome to Sundays Talks with Carols. Welcome, come on in, everyone. Come on in. For those of you that have not joined us before, I am your host, Carol, and we are going to discuss topics that bring about awareness and kind of like food for thought, like, I didn't think about that, or So today, I want to ask you a question. And the question that I have for you today is, should we be recreating the sanctity of marriage, or should we be defending the history of legal marriage? Let's get on in here, think about this topic, and let's start discussing it. This is the reason that we're doing this topic today is because it was brought on from what we discussed last week, which was talking about open relationships and open marriages and so on and so forth. So, guys, we're going to get into this intro and then we're going to get ready to get into this conversation. And I have a special guest that is going to be on the panel with me today. So I am extremely excited about that, guys. So let's just get this intro done and over with. And then I'll be back, guys. I will be back. Okay.
It won't go away. I've got that feeling rushing through my body. I know that it is here to stay. It's like you're my personal Illuminati. I know that some might say that I am just a bad girl, but if you treat me right, I will be the best girl in this whole world. No, I'm not gonna fight. I've got my hands on your body. So tell me what you want me to do. I can be good or be naughty, because there ain't nobody love you like I do, 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 like
Hey guys, we're back. And for those of you that don't know, the merchandise that you saw is a company that I have, which is Carol's Gems and Things. I will be coming out with a new line of jewelry, earrings, things of that nature. So be on the lookout for that and support your girl. But now I want to get into these welcomes. I want to thank you guys for showing up. Thank you, Advice with Mel, for being here, my number one supporter, my cheerleader. You're always here, girl. Thank you so much for joining. Wanston, it's me, honey. Yes, thank you so much for coming in. Thank you so much. And Tanya, thank you so much, my girl, for showing up and showing out. Hey, Femiana's blogs. Hey, girl, how are you? I am so glad that you made it. I am so glad that you made it. So like I said, guys, we are going to talk about the virtues of marriage, but we're also going to start delving into, should we recreate the sanctity of marriage. Now, Fariana's vlog did make some comments in my comment section, which was like food for thought for real. Like, she really listened to the replay of the video and she came up with some stuff. And I was like, oh my God, thank you so much, girl, because you answered a lot of questions that we had, um, that I didn't know the answers to. Because listen, on this platform, I don't pretend to know the answers to everything. What I like to do is bring up topics, we bring about awareness, we talk about them, we each get some clarity on things. And yeah, so that's what this is about. Yes, Mel, I am wearing some of my own creations. Yes, girl, yes, I am. So these are clip ons that I made because I don't wear actual earrings. So they are clip ons. But before we even get started, I want to bring forth our guest on our panel today. And Feriana, you are more than welcome to come on in. I am definitely going to put this link in, but you definitely are welcome to come up on this panel because you have a lot to offer. Okay, so let me actually get that link in here first, and then we are going to. Now I know I'm doing that wrong, guys, because you know how I am. You already know. Um, Let me just put this in the chat. Is what I'm supposed to be doing. So first, I want to bring up our panel member, who is welcome, Dolly. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in, girl.
What's
I'm going
up?
to Girl, listen, you already know. You already know. We about to cut up. We're about to have a good time because that's
Been
what
acting
we do when we
fool.
get together. Let me get this link out. Introduce yourself to everyone. Let them know who you are. And let me try to get this link together, guys. But you go ahead, girl. You go ahead.
What up, y'all? I'm Dolly the coach. I am Carol's right hand. We went coaching together and everything. I got my own business just like her. We women doing it large. We got our own stuff going on. You can't tell us nothing. Ain't about to tell us nothing. You ain't got to heaven no hell to put us in to tell us nothing. So you're going to sit back and enjoy this show. And then you're going to support me and go to my website, dollythecoach.net. And you're going to sign up for this 21-day reset cleanse that we need because you know we all got to clean out our gut, clean out our whole life, our spirit, our energy, and everything. And let's get it together, okay?
Okay, she said, let's get it together. So let's get it together. I, of course, hold on, guys. Y'all know I'm struggling with getting this link in here. So y'all know me. Y'all already know me. If she can mess it up, she gonna mess it up, and she is messing it up. But I'm
Yeah,
going to get it. I'm
baby.
going to get it together in a minute. I am. I have the link, but I don't know why I'm struggling with getting it in the chat. But I'm not going to hold everybody up. I'm going to be working on that so that we can get our girl Feriana in here. Feriana in here. Um, but listen, let's first talk about the whole debacle
Mhm.
that we discussed last week. And that discussion, I know you wasn't able to be here last week, Dolly, but you did watch the replay. And we did talk about um, open marriages.
Mhm.
We talked about open marriages, and I did get some more clarity on that topic with Feriana's post, but I need to get her in here too. So
Yes, please.
help me out, Chad. Help me out because y'all already know. Um, okay, I'm clicking on invite guests. I see the link. Now, how the heck do I get? Oh, hold on, y'all. Hold on. There we go. Okay. All right. So there is the link. So if you want to join us, come on in for Rihanna, because this was a topic that you had a lot of information on that I really didn't have the information on. So I was happy to hear when you started talking about it. And then I thought, when we talk about relationships, Dolly is the perfect person for this because she coaches on relationships. That's what she does. And she has a successful relationship of her own. So who better to bring on and talk about these things than our girl Dolly? So I'm gonna bring. Hey, Feriana, how are
Hello.
you, girl? How are you?
Hi,
How
can you hear
how
me?
are you doing?
Yeah.
Yes, welcome in. Welcome in. So happy to have you here. Happy to have you here. So
Happy to be here.
we're gonna talk about the open relationship thing. And you gave a
Right.
lot of examples of open relationships. So why don't you fill us on in on that? And let me just see what's going on with the chat first, because I don't want to ignore my people at all.
Right.
Um,
Well,
so
basically, you had a lot of questions, and a lot of people in your audience didn't have a lot of answers either because they were coming from the perspective of traditional relationships, religious relationships, um, and things like that. Like the way of thinking, you you meet someone, you start dating, you together for a while, consider living together or getting married first kind of concept, and then the family, very A, B, C, D in order kind of thing. And the point that I raised was non-traditional relationships are kind of the same, but there are so many different levels of what people prefer as a relationship. Like if you just want to be somebody that just dates, or you just want to be somebody that's with one person specifically, but say that person is long distance all the time, you want somebody else around, but it ends up being more than a friendship level, then you have to kind of come to an agreement, like, am I going to move on from the person that I love, that I want to be with, that I've dedicated myself to, or are we going to come to this decision that maybe we should see if I could date someone and it would still work kind of concept. And I know a lot of people that I had a roommate that when she moved out, she ended up with a married couple, and they've been together for as a triad for over 10 years, and they have kids involved, and these kids are spoiled rotten, and they're so super smart, and they literally have the mentality of it takes a village. And they all pitch in, and they all take care of the house, they all take care of each other, and it's a beautiful relationship between the three of them. And the bottom line of it, I think, is you have to figure out how you view relationships. Do you view them in a traditional mindset of, I was raised boy meets girl, that's how it is? Or do we evolve into how society has become a bit more open-minded? It's not just boy and girl anymore. That's a different subject. But it's also a different mindset of, I love you, but I could also love this person, or I could also love this person. And would it even work? Or should I just date and not marry? Or should I just live with people that I really get along with? It's all about, the bottom line is, it's an agreement. It's agreement between two people. I agree to be committed to you. We agree to this set of how we're going to have our dynamic, how we're going to hold our relationship, how we're going to be. And that's even in monogamous relationships. I feel like it's an agreement. I want to be with you. This is the effort that I'm going to put forth. This is what I expect from you back. That's basically my understanding of it. It is, even in a non-monogamous, it's all an agreement between everybody, and it's all communication, and it's everybody has to be in agreement, or it just doesn't work.
Right. And I can see that, and I was glad that you brought it to the forefront, because like I said, this is a judgment-free zone, and my thing is, I want to be open-minded to different things. I don't want to just say it's this way or that way, because honestly, that's not how society works. Hey, Dorothy, thank you for coming in. Carmen Hall, hello. Cookies and Creams, thank you so much, girl, for coming on over. I appreciate you. Bring back our kings. Welcome, welcome. Anyone that is new to my channel and new to Sunday's Talks with Carol, just come on in, sit down, let's chat. Feel free to give your opinion, because again, this is a judgment-free zone. We are positive. This is real talk. We all have to learn some things sometimes, and we're all going to have different perspectives. So come on in and let's get into it. So when you, okay, so Dolly, I know you have something to say, and I know that I know you have some things to say. So go on, girl, get it out, get it out.
It won't be in my marriage. I know that.
There you go. See, then that's your agreement.
Right. Yeah, that's not just my agreement. That's the agreement between my foot and his ass. So that ain't gonna happen. That's a whole separate agreement, okay? Yeah, that comes with bail money and everything. But yeah, I understand that we are in different times now, and it is more. It's not that it wasn't happening before. These are things that was happening. It just was taboo to talk about. Nobody was really trying to put out there that they was considering being, not necessarily, I guess, a second choice in the relationship, as opposed to being the one and only.
Right.
And also, we have come to a space where people are acknowledging that people have other religious beliefs, different upbringings, We
Mhm.
don't all think with the same brain. We don't all have the same tolerance level. So some people are able to put up with having an extra body in the household.
Mhm.
I, it doesn't float my boat. I'm not that kind of gal. I'm kind of old school. I like it traditional in some ways, and I'm very selfish. I will be owning some teeth after uh, there's even a thought, a conversation, and an inkling that there should be another person in this house aside from me. Excuse me. We don't have enough drawers for her.
So when we talk about ethical, not listen, she gonna have us acting up today. But when we talk about ethical, non-monogamous relationships, we're talking about. I guess the question is, and you mentioned this, is can you feel? Can you feel this? No, you can't feel the same way because there are different loves, and we love our children different, each child different. So I get that concept, but can you be in love with two people at the same time
Yeah.
in order to make this work? And then the other question I have, because I have a lot, the other question I have is okay, so you and I can be in love. But what about my partner? Where does my partner fit in the fact that you and this person are in love with each other? Do we all need to be in love with each other? I have a lot of questions. So
No.
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 Okay. Okay.
Um,
So
there's labels, there's like I guess titles, so that it helps to understand a little better the perspective. So the most the two most common relationships in a non-monogamous relationship is called a V poly. It's literally like the letter V, where one
okay.
person is seeing two people, but these two people are not seeing each other. And these two people are called metas. They are metas to each other, and it is up to them if they want to be friends, if they want to have nothing to do with each other, if they just want to be casual. Sorry, I'm bumping my thing. If they just want to be casual, hey, let's meet up and like discuss whatever issues are going on, like just I guess not even exactly friends, but kind of like acquaintances. Like we have this in common. Obviously, we have to talk.
Mhm.
um, so there's different levels there, and then the person that is dating both of them, it they are to hold their relationships separate. They're two very
Okay.
separate relationships, and whatever boundaries you have with each other, it should all be agreed upon, and basically don't overindulge. Your relationship here with your relationship over here. It's none of their business. But say that an issue arises, then you're going to be like, all right, so I'm having a problem with this person. I don't exactly need advice, but I'm just letting you know this is what's going on, kind of thing, like an update, so to speak. And the other type of relationship, like I said, that's the most common is called the triad, where they all have a relationship together. And that to me just gets a little complicated. And I don't think I could ever, I mentally can't wrap my mind around
Mhm.
three people dating all together. That's like,
All together.
yeah, that's a
Because
lot.
a relationship with two people is complicated enough. So
Yeah.
let me know in the chat how you guys, is this clearing some things up for you? Um, I mean, how do you feel about this? Do you feel that these are situations that really could work? And I know a lot of us have a traditional mindset, such as myself. Although I'm open enough to say I can explore this on paper. I can explore this on paper. I can explore this
In
online.
theory.
So, right. So, but how are you guys feeling about this? Is it something that you think that, I mean, do you understand a little bit better what the principle of this is? Um, because I know that marriage is basically based on it's a legal document basically. So I think that when it comes to these other type of relationships, it's not so much based on the legality of it. It's based on people's feelings and basically what people want, what they feel they need to make them happy. And we all know that a piece of paper isn't um, the answer for a lot of things, which brings us talking about how the past, right? The past and what is happening now. Should we change things? And we are changing things because people are writing their own vows now, right? People are leaving out for better or for worse. People are deciding to put their own set of virtues or whatever in their vows. But I mean,
Well, if you're
Hold on, let
taking
me.
it from a religious aspect, you said the sanctity of marriage at the beginning of this thing before you
mm-hmm,
started everything.
mm-hmm,
The sanctity of marriage is actually defined very specifically in the Bible itself as two very specific things. One, the holiness of life and character, i.e., godliness, and two, the quality or state of being holy or sacred, and having all of that. So basically, the sanctity of marriage is the holiness of your marriage, the
right,
religious, spiritual aspect involved actively in your marriage, and
Right.
you let God come first, and
The
everything
covenant.
else falls into place.
right, right,
So
right.
that's a little different than most people are just think of the sanctity of marriage as, you have to be with that person because you decided to be married to them. And that's where you end
See,
up with like cheaters and stuff,
and
like you
yeah,
have to spiritually believe I am meant to be with just this person.
absolutely, and that is where the majority of the confusion comes from, because we're talking about two separate things. We're talking about the actual religious aspect of marriage, and then we're just talking about the commitment of a couple, the commitment of a relationship, and they're definitely two different things. Yes, when you're talking about the sanctity of marriage, yes, you're absolutely saying it's myself, it's God, my husband. We are a union. We have separated from our parents, and now this is who we are. But in that, and I think that the problem with that is that people were marrying sometimes just based on the fact that this is what I have to do. And people were caught in situations that they didn't want to be in. And the thought of divorcing, because it's looked so down upon, people began going outside of their marriages and, the unseen. Let me go into the chat for a minute. Hey, At It Again Media, welcome. Thank you so much for coming in. Marriage is supposed to, advice with Mel is saying marriage is supposed to be a union. It is possible to have a union with more than one person. Yeah, I guess so. I really guess so. But let's delve into the virtues, right? Let's delve into the virtues of marriage, because I want to do a comparison between the virtues of a marriage, of a, say, let's say, a religious marriage, and the
Traditional.
virtues of a relationship, right?
Right.
What are some of those virtues? The first one that comes to my mind is commitment.
Mhm.
There's
But
30 of them, right?
there are 30 of them. We're going to hit
There
on a few,
there are
or
30.
else we'll be here. And listen, my people not gonna be here that long, because they're like, you have an hour, Carol. Um, but
I
let's
can read
talk
them off for
about,
you.
just talking about the ones that we normally deal with, that the first things that come to your mind when you're talking about the virtues of marriage. So commitment is one, right?
Caring for them, compassion.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But how can you can have those things in these type of relationships also, except that you're now being committed to more than one person.
Right.
And if you look at the actual way that marriage was created, you were supposed to be committed to one person. So I think that that's where a lot of the confusion comes in as well. So how can you be committed to two people? And I guess you can, but not in the old fashioned sense of committing to a relationship. So it's two different things. What do you think, Dolly?
To me, it sounds like a bunch of confusion, and I ain't got the time, patience, or the bandwidth in my brain to think of having to devote that much energy. I already have to do that with one human being. Okay, One human being. But then in your marriage, you also have children. There's not just those people.
Right.
It's hard enough to do that in your marriage when you're devoting your time with your husband and your wife, or your wife and your wife, or your husband, whatever, right? You
Mm-hmm.
also have to give that devotion and time, commitment, compassion, and all that stuff to your children.
Mm-hmm.
And that also leaves one spouse feeling like they're left out. They're not being attended to. You're neglecting the relationship. To have to now do that with two, three, four, five, six more people, that's a lot of stretching that you have to do mentally, emotionally. And if you're a person who's emotionally unavailable half the time,
Right.
as a man, you now have to answer to two, three, four, five, six women who
Right.
are emotional all the time.
Right.
And they eventually will either turn on each other or they're going to turn on you. I haven't met a man yet that can handle cheating with just
Right.
two people without
Mm-hmm.
getting caught up. You're telling me you could sit there and honestly give equal time, love, compassion, respect, all of those things to multiple women in a union?
That's rare.
But in
That's sad.
all But in all fairness, I'm going to play devil's advocate here for a minute. So, when you are in a marriage, you're not always able to give 100% of yourself at any given time. There are times when you are able to give more, your wife is able to give more. There are just relationships, marriages. There are times when I can't give all of everything. So, is can it be a little easier if you have that third person that comes in and helps out a little bit more? Because I know, like in some of these relationships where there are children involved, that there's that extra hand. The wife now has that extra hand with the children as opposed to having to do everything on their own. So are there benefits to this type of relationship, as opposed to just the traditional marriage? Mel is saying Mel is saying fairness and dignity are also virtues,
Right.
Right.
um, that we have to. But just thinking about it, is there? I know we're looking at it from the aspect that this is difficult and it's more difficult, but could it possibly be a little bit easier because there's a little split in there?
I
I
think
think
in
it
a perfect
depends on the
world,
people.
yeah, in a perfect world, yeah, absolutely. If you, I would love to have a helping hand here. That don't mean I want you, my man slinging his dingling in you either. You're gonna be the living maid though, Molly, the maid.
if you,
Like that's
if
just
you,
that's not. I'm not signing. Listen, some people, and this is absolutely true. You can be in love with two people at one time. There, you can have soul ties with multiple people at one time.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. If you're someone like me, you're not having that. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm a queen in my castle. I'm sorry, I can't share my
Mm-hmm.
queendom. You're not sitting on the throne next to me. You're not sitting on the floor in front of me. You're not standing up behind me. There's no place for you here aside from being a guest.
So
And
obviously it takes a different type of person. You have to have a totally different mindset. you
yeah,
you you can't be that person that goes by the traditional upbringing that, say, we were brought up in. You
right.
absolutely have to, somewhere along the line, you had to say, this isn't working for me, why don't I do this? And maybe a person that feels trapped when they're stuck in a relationship with one person, maybe these are the ideal situations for them, as opposed to, or a husband that really, and I hate to say it, but a husband that really wants the thrill of not having the same
He wants
every,
that new.
he wants something different. He don't want the same, but he wants to be honest. He wants to be faithful, but he just doesn't want to be faithful to just you. But he may be saying, "Listen, can is it possible that we can bring this person in and we're open, we're honest, we know what it is. I'm not choosing her over you. I just feel that I don't want to be trapped and feel the need to cheat on you. So how about we try this?" I mean,
All right, but now Okay, we could look at it that way, right? He want to be honest. He don't want to cheat. Okay. Now, is the woman who is agreeing to go along with it? Because we know women, we do some stupid stuff. Like we'll do it. You could be dick with too. Okay. Okay.
Right.
So we'll agree to do some stuff just to keep him, but
Right.
you're not honoring what you truly feel because,
Right.
oh my goodness, I love him so much. I don't want him to leave. I just want to make him happy. Is it making
Right.
you happy though? Is
Mm-hmm.
that what you would truly want? And a lot of
Mm-hmm.
times a woman will say yeah to go along with it and to keep this man happy. But you
Mm-hmm.
sitting there the whole time not living in your truth and you're miserable. Because
Right.
you're watching him be happy with a whole other person, laying up with both of y'all in the bed, or she fixing breakfast and you standing there with the kids and he's sitting there, he go over her, give her a kiss, good morning, baby. Go over, you get good morning, baby. I couldn't do it, baby. My knuckles is too swift. I can't do
Oh
it.
Lord.
I can't listen. I'm biased. I'm sorry. I could see both sides. I'm open enough to see both sides. I understand people aren't don't have a traditional mindset like me, but for me, it's the no for me because
No.
Right.
uh-uh.
Right. Mel says that sounds like we're trying to upgrade the title of concubine.
Yeah, yeah.
Concubine is an outside partner from a marriage where there is no permission. He's just like, I'm just going to be with this person. It's like what kings used to do.
Mhm.
I'm just going to be with this
Oh.
person, and my queen has to accept it whether she likes it or not because that's her station, and she has to uphold this level of respect. And if she throws a fit, she's going to lose respect from the people, kind of
Mm.
concept.
So she's
Whereas
forced to accept.
yeah, whereas a a non-traditional relationship, everybody is in agreement. Everybody openly
Mm-hmm.
communicates. Everybody has not rules but boundaries, what they're comfortable with. And
Mm-hmm.
if a boundary is pushed, they have like what's called a kitchen table discussion. They sit down and they hash it out.
They have a red table
Basically.
talk because that's what we just learned.
All right,
Okay.
let's get the wives in one room, and
Oh
I'm gonna
no.
walk the other way because I know how this is gonna go.
I mean, it sounds like you really have to have some really level-minded people. Like you can't have the hot head in the room like me because I'm gonna start
What
out nice about it.
is
Like,
that
yeah,
even normal in today's society? We all got like mental illnesses and
right,
emotional
right,
traumas, and
right. Right, because I'm gonna start out like, okay, well, let's just sit down and have this conversation, right? Okay, and by the end of the conversation, she don't have no hair in her head. Like I done pulled her across the like. You really have to. You really have to want this. This is something that you have to be passionate about. The way people are passionate about marriages, you have to be passionate about not wanting to be put in a box. You don't want to be placed in anyone's box. You want to do what you feel is working for you. And when I've looked online and I've done some research, there are absolutely people that this is working for. This is absolutely their lifestyle. So, I mean, yeah, Dorothy, you already know. You already know it's not happening, but we can be open minded enough to say, well, it may not work for us, but it may work for other people. Um, it may work for other people. But with all of this being said, does this mean that we should be trying to recreate what marriage is? Because okay, so this is what I walked away with, and then I want you guys to respond. This is what I walked away with from this whole thing, right? Yes, we get married because we love someone, right? We're in love, we want that commitment, and we want everyone to know that this, I can only speak from a woman's perspective, that this guy loved me enough to actually commit to me, right? But along with that, also because you'll often hear people say, I'm not shacking up with him because what do I get if it doesn't work out? So marriage is basically it's legal. It's to legalize the finances. So when there's no alimony when you're cohabitating with someone, so there's no, well, in a lot of states there are, and that's the difference. But in some states, there's no getting half of what I have because we're just living together. However, when people really delve into the legalities of things, you will find that in a lot of states there's common law marriage, and you still have the same responsibility whether you got that paper or not. So quite often people say, well, it's just a piece of paper. But I
De-
mean, you can
depends.
also be cohabitating with someone and fill out legal documents and say, if the marriage doesn't, if the relationship ends within 5 years, I have to give you this, this, and that. So there are ways to do the same legal thing with the marriage. I don't know.
I want to
It's
address something that Mel just said. She said, "Doesn't that eventually lead to insecurity?" Now,
not
this is,
always.
but this is the thing though. Like I said, a lot of times women are more apt to agreeing to go along with something just because they love that guy, even if that ideally that's not something that they will go along with, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
This is why it is so important to have that same communication that you would have in that triad relationship or whatever, uh, um, to have that same communication prior to getting into a deeper relationship with that person. If that is not your lane and you are somebody who cannot see yourself giving into or living that kind of lifestyle, don't do it. If
See,
you
I
have
agree.
that deep insecurity in you already where you know you are liable to snap and that's just not your way of being, don't commit to something like that.
Right.
Hmm. Hmm.
Period. There are girls out here that could literally handle that. There are girls out here that think like dudes and be like, look, I could sleep with somebody and not have no feelings for them. If you ain't that chick,
Hmm.
off yourself.
Right.
Hmm. Because you have people that you have what we refer to as the side chick. They'll be the side chick with no benefits for years and years and
And
years.
don't care.
I don't trust them
It,
girls. They
I
they're out
know,
to they're out to home wreck. They're not out
but
for a relationship.
but if that situation, if they were given the opportunity, and I agree with you, because if given the opportunity every all parties agree, well, you can just bring her on in. Like you said, her thing is to get the man. She's not really interested in you. She's going to
Right.
play this part for a moment, but she's not really interested in cohabitating with both of you. Her goal is to get him away from you,
Mm-hmm.
which again, it's trust. Like the amount of trust that you have in someone for this to work. I mean,
It's a lot.
oh
And
gosh,
you were talking about marriage and the levels of marriage and the connection and stuff. My brother refuses to get married. My aunt refused to get married her whole life. And what they believe is um you have that commitment already. You have decided
mhm,
I'm going to be with this person. I'm going to live with this person. We're going to have bills together. We're going to do everything together, even raising
mhm,
kids.
right.
They took the religious aspect out of it. They took the legal aspect out of it. I'm with them. I'm going to stay with them. That's that.
Mhm,
And they
mhm,
just don't believe marriage is for them. They don't want that piece of paper. They don't want the religious aspect of it. And my aunt at one point in time, I think her longest relationship was like 20 years or something like that. She was with a
mhm,
guy for like 20
mhm,
years.
mhm,
Um, and the other aspect is the legal aspect. Yes, there are tax benefits, housing benefits, all sorts of stuff.
mhm,
But it can also be a bad thing to get married. Like, say they make too much money and you've got kids from a previous marriage and you need Medicaid or something and EBT or something, kind of like my situation.
mhm.
You can't have that legal document and live with your significant other, because then you can't get the benefits for your kids because they make too
Right,
much money and they can't get insurance because it's not their kids. You
right,
know what I'm saying?
right,
Like it's a huge toss up
right.
there too. So making it legal is always room for discussion there. But when it
Mhm,
comes to the religious aspect, the third aspect, which should be actually the first aspect, um, originally marriage is a religious union. It can be either for like family, like we're going to group these two families together for prosperity and money and status or whatever, or
mhm,
we're going to group these two people together in an arranged marriage, or we're going to put these two people, you know what I'm saying? Like half of marriages in the past for history, a lot of it was arranged and a lot of it was for religious or status reasons. I don't think they do a whole lot of, I mean, maybe Middle East or whatever, they still do
The Middle
status or
East
whatever.
they do, and they still actually do arranged marriages, even though they've come to the United States. They still do arranged marriages. But when it comes to relationships, quite often people are content, right? You meet people and they've been together for 10, 15 years and it's working, right? They may have a difference here or there, no different from any other, no different than a marriage. So you have people that are pretty content. They know they love each other. They know they're going to be together. And what happens is society comes in and goes, when are you going to get married?
Right.
It's the pressures of society. It's just like a woman who's 35 and she hasn't had a child yet. Oh, well, when are you going to have a child? It's the pressures of society. You may be very well happy. You know that your significant other is going to leave insurance for you. You know that he has placed you on his health insurance, because nowadays you can do that. So really the marriage thing is really the pressures of society. And I think we have a generation now that is rebelling against what society says they must do as opposed to what they want to do. So
I think it should go back to just being religious, not a whole legal thing. I mean, legal could be added to it, but I think, especially in the United States, a religious marriage should be acknowledged without the legal BS behind. You should be allowed to what if your religion is doesn't believe in marriage itself, but like a bonding, a union, you know, like a spiritual connection with that person to the families and stuff like what's it called? Hand fasting, paganism. They do hand fasting. They bond their arms together and all that. So she's rolling her eyes.
Okay.
But it's a form of marriage in their minds. You know, it's their beliefs. Why do they have to go get a legal piece of paper for it?
And why? See, this is the thing. So when you really look at it, it really is a state of mind. At the end of the day, it is your state of mind, because I'm supposed to be more connected to you because we have that piece of paper. I don't know that is the truth. And I think a lot of people get married and say, well, I was married in the church. But before you got married, you didn't step your foot in the doors of a church. You haven't been in the church for 5 years.
A lot of them.
But now, because society says, oh, don't go to the justice of peace and get married. You got to get married in the church. But you don't even believe in religion per se, but you got married in the church. So, you know, legal money, because the church is going to get money because you have to give them an offering to get married in the church. Like the pastor don't know nothing about you, but he's marrying these people. Like, I don't.
How about this? How about the folks get to know who the hell they are before they even get married?
That's right.
Don't know what you are, what you like. And that's the problem with today. These people don't know who the hell they are.
Right.
You allowing people to dictate your every move because you so infatuated with people doing on Instagram and the tiki-taki and all this little stupidness. Listen, the folks is too infatuated with other people's opinion of them. Get to know you and what you like and what you deem appropriate and suitable for your lifestyle. Make your decisions and base who you want to be your lifetime partner off of that. You don't have to be when I told you the other day, I'm not a conformist. Didn't I tell you that?
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
I don't like to conform to what everyone else, and I don't. I really, there's some things I'm very traditional. Like I like structure. That's me, and I'm a creature of habit. But there are certain things that people do, and it's like, Dolly, why you ain't? I just don't move like that, Ma.
Right.
I know what I like. I know who I am. I know how I respond to things, and I know what I go for, and that ain't it. So when people get to learn who they are, as opposed to what my family traditionally does and practices, then they'll be more happier in life. Stop following what your great grandmother did. That worked for her back in 1849. That ain't gonna work.
But did it?
But that's what I'm saying. She followed her grandmama. Then the grandmama followed the grandmama. That's their way of being based on that time that they was living in and what worked for them.
My
How
grandparents stayed
society has it,
together for the kids. That did not
and
work
that
out.
don't work. I'm sorry, that don't work for me. It
And
don't
that
work for me
happens a lot. That happens a lot. But
because they know no other way.
Right.
And so again, it just says that I'm glad that you made that point, Dolly, because it says you're living in your truth. This is who you are,
Right.
and you know what works for you. I know what works for me, but a lot of people don't know what works for them. But for the people that choose this lifestyle, they know that this is okay with them, that it works for them. And I don't know that, no, we know that this has been going on for years and years and years. But as you started out on the show, Dolly, saying is that it happened, but it was in the closet. People didn't bring it out. People didn't talk
Right.
about it. But now you have social media. This stuff is out here.
Yeah.
Now we can see. Listen, on cable they have what's the guy, the family that he has all the wives. He has a bunch of wives, and they lived in Utah,
Oh,
and then
that polygamist group. Yeah, I
yes,
can't stand
yes,
watching them.
yeah.
I mean, I get it, but
I
that
watched
dude
him for.
alone annoys me, and those ladies are way too nice.
He's
I would have
annoying.
slapped him a long time
But you know
ago with
what?
his attitude.
I was interested in the dynamics of this years ago, and I guess I was
Sister Wives. That's what
fascinated.
Mel said.
Yep, there you go.
Yes, Sister Wives, Mal. Yes, you've got it.
I never
Yes,
seen it.
oh yes, I used to watch it because
I
I
can't.
was fascinated by how they operated. But what I liked about the show was they really showed the nitty gritty. They showed when this it wasn't working out with this wife, and I
Mhm.
remember she wanted to leave. Nobody liked her. The other wives was like kind of turning on her,
They
and he
put it in a
really,
good perspective to understand the concept
yes,
and what it
yes,
takes versus the escaping polygamy show where it's like a cult and these
yes,
women are
Mm.
forced to get married and
yes.
it's like hundreds of wives and hundreds of kids and it's
That's
way too and it's
different.
abusive and
Yeah.
yeah, that's a whole different
That's different. That's dealing with young children, and
yeah,
that's a
that's not right.
that's another show. That's another Sunday's talks. But yeah, so I mean, I'm fascinated by the fact that people are open enough to start living in their truth today. I'm fascinated by that. Um, I am okay with people making decisions that make them happy. If it works for them, it works for them. But like you, Dolly, it won't work for me. It won't. It won't work for me. It really it wouldn't work for me. And knowing me, I would have been one of those people. Yes, yeah, okay. Well, I'll try it if it makes you happy. But I'll be in
Not
jail
me.
now. I would be in jail now.
Let me tell you
I put
something.
my
I
foot
thought of
down.
it a couple minutes. I thought of it a couple minutes. I was like, you know what? I might just go down this road. Just
I was like, can I hand you off when I'm tired of you?
Yeah,
Is that how that works? Let
I
her
can't
deal
even do
with
that.
you.
I can't even
Can't
do
deal
yeah,
with
that.
you.
I
yeah,
can't do that because then
Tanya,
I'm
to
jealous
each
of
his
that. I want to
own.
be the only one to kill you. Like that's I
Yeah,
don't want to be mad at you and kill you. I want to kill you. Like that's
She
just
wants
my
100% control.
that's
yeah,
but that's
yeah.
how
Listen,
my mind works. It's like I don't want her to be mad at you too. I want to be mad at you and deal with you. That's just
and then I'm mad because she mad at you. Who is she to be mad at you? I'm mad. This is don't
Like,
be mad at my
woman, step
husband.
back. I
Yeah,
was here first. I
right,
get first
yes,
dibs.
yes.
If there's
Don't be
anything
mad at
left,
my
good luck.
husband. Right, don't talk to him like that. Yeah,
right.
it takes a special individual to be in this type of relationship, and I commend them. And no knocking anybody's lifestyle or whatever. I commend you if you can do that, because so many of us have a difficult time holding down a marriage. Like, Watson says marriage is ours by God, but
That's
put him
right.
first
That's
and
right.
let him lead the way.
That's
And
right.
this is
Marriage
one
should be
thing.
bottom line religious.
That's
I
Yeah,
it.
think. I don't think it should be legal. I think it should be religious.
yeah.
Mel says, "Stop agreeing with me. I don't need you at the end."
That's fine. We'll disagree to agreeing with you.
Yo, I think she's talking about like if you arguing and then the girl is like
Yeah,
agreeing with.
I don't need your damn help.
How much?
I,
Excuse me.
I got this. Yeah, I got it. But listen, Watson, if you're looking at marriage and you believe in God and the sanctity of marriage on that level, absolutely. But we can't. One thing we can't do is judge. We have to understand that people are different and people are
Yeah.
individuals. And if you decide to not get married because of religion or because of God, you want to be in this type of situation. And you may listen, everybody's religion is different. This may be okay in your religion. Muslims can have more than one wife. So
Right.
religions are different. So it just depends on your religion and um how
I
you
would I would never judge someone or disrespect them if they're, especially if they're a friend or even a complete stranger, because I would feel like, what if they did it to me? What if
hmm
my lifestyle and my choices, somebody turned around and goes, "That's not right. You know that's not
right,
right." Like,
right,
this is just you're gonna mess up your whole life,
hmm
whatever. I don't need that kind of judgment,
right,
but I'm also not the most accepting person. I've gotten a lot better, but there are
hmm
still certain lifestyles and dynamics, and I still can't wrap my own head around, but I'm not
hmm
gonna go, "That's wrong," or
Right.
anything.
Right.
That's
right,
for you. That's cool. I respect
hmm
you. I can, I'm not gonna say anything mean. I'm not gonna think
right,
mean thoughts, but I'm gonna have questions,
Right.
hmm
and
hmm
hopefully it's okay to
It's
ask
nothing wrong with that.
questions.
and
Always ask questions.
and
Question
that's how
everything.
this yeah, that's how this came about, because we started out discussing the Will Smith and Jada situation
hmm
and talking about open marriages and are they acceptable, and do they work, and here
That's
we
different
are.
than polyamory.
Right. And here we are, and this is what this channel is about. It's about us bringing about awareness to certain things, because I really didn't have all um the answers here. And this is why I appreciate people coming in and saying, "Listen, I have this information, let me share it." And so this is important. It's important that we understand other cultures, other lifestyles, other things other than what we are doing. Because what I'm doing is not any has nothing to do with what the rest of society is doing. I'm in a box over here, but there's a whole big world out there. Yes, Dolly.
Let me. I wanna address what Mel just said. She said, "Why does the V have to be male?"
It
Men
doesn't.
ain't wired like us, baby.
It
But
doesn't.
they not majority of the time. The man ain't gonna be on the tip of that V. Nuh-uh. He not doing it. He not doing it. They not wired like us. Okay.
It
We
takes
women
a
are wired.
special kind of guy.
Listen, he's special, or he got dreams of being a part of
Yeah,
the other side of that
yeah,
V. But I'm
yeah.
just telling you right now, it ain't gonna go down. You
Because
ain't
could
gonna
you
find the same brother
imagine?
on planet Earth.
Imagine coming home to your husband talking about, "Oh yeah, because I met Bob and
At the
and
Costco.
Bob." What
What the
Bob?
It doesn't exactly, in this day and age, it doesn't have to be two men either. It doesn't have to be a female with two. It could be a
Right,
female
it
with a
could be?
female and a man,
Yeah,
or
right,
trans,
right,
or
they
right,
not
you
having
never
it.
know these days.
Whoever
right,
the
right.
man is in a relationship, if he not the one having the two separate relationships, it ain't happening.
Maybe in a traditional mindset, I don't know. Like, it could be a bi guy, and maybe
That's what I said. If
he's
unless he
he's
want to
got
be,
another girlfriend too, and so, like, he's got two girlfriends, and this girlfriend's got two boys. I don't.
let me tell you
Because
There's
something.
so many.
I'm sure that there are these same situations that work at some point. They're working. They're absolutely working. Whether it's um three men together, whether it's, two men and a woman, if it's two women and a man, I'm sure that there are situations where this is working in. Um, and again, we have to really try our best not to be judgmental, because a lot of times we're judgmental because we don't understand. Once you open up
Right.
your mindset to understanding things, then you can say, okay, I see it from your standpoint. It's not for me, but I get why you
Mhm.
are where you're at. I understand how you're feeling and why you're in your situation. So I just don't ever want to be at a point where I am judging. um,
Right.
but I want to ask, Do you have anything, Fariana? Am I pronouncing your name right?
Yes,
Fariana?
Fariana.
Oh, I did it. Okay, so Fariana, I'm telling you, yes, Dorothy, whatever makes you happy, no judgment here. And that is
Right.
what I am all about. I absolutely am not going to judge anyone. It's just not my way. It's not who I am. Um, Fariana, is there anything else you want to share with us or some last words? And you definitely have to come back because you are awesome, girl. You're awesome. Anything
A
Thank
else you
you.
want
well
to
of
share with us?
information. I'll tell you
Uh,
that.
Yes.
I've had so many experiences and known so many interesting people in my lifetime. So yeah, I definitely I can touch on a lot of subjects. Um, I can't think of anything else that we haven't covered. I'm really we really broke it down a lot and covered as much as possible. I mean, there's ethical non-monogamy, which has like a million different like subtitles, and
Mm-hmm.
open marriage is one, but polyamory is another, and like they're all different. So it kind of, when people just automatically assume open marriage, I'm just going to sleep with whoever I want kind of concept,
Mm-hmm.
that's not ethical,
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
non-monogamy.
Right.
I think people need to learn to get out of that kind of mindset where it's like, oh, you have an open marriage. No, it's not an open marriage. We have an agreement
Hmm.
that I'm allowed to date one other person or something like that, or they are allowed to date one other person because
Mm-hmm.
there's just certain things in our relationship that don't line up, maybe, or maybe they
Right.
just need a little extra, or I don't even, whatever their decision is that,
Mm-hmm.
you know, so I just kind of wanted to point that out. It's like there's literally different dynamics that
Well,
maybe we can't cover.
we're gonna have to get back together and do something else. I do have an idea for another show that I am playing around with in my head. And I think you'll be perfect on that platform. You already know, so just be quiet. Don't smile, don't laugh, just be quiet about it. But I do have something else in mind. Yes, Tanya, whatever makes your boat float might make my boat sink. Do whatever
Probably.
works for you. That's a perfect way of saying it, Tanya. Perfect way of saying it. Dolly, anything that you want to add on to the conversation? Anything that you want to, a point you want to get across?
Something I wanted to get across that I wasn't able to during the last conversation we had about this, as it pertains to Will Smith and Jada Pinkett, and I
Hmm.
think I said it to you in private. There, there's no way that I believe in my heart that Jada's love for Will was true. Okay,
No.
I believe her soul ties were with Tupac, and once he died, it was just like, well, I ain't got no other soulmate here, so I'm just gonna hop my behind onto anything and anybody. She didn't want him. She made that very clear. They had a conversation about it. I didn't want to get married. Her mother told her she was ungrateful. This is all documented stuff that she done said out her own daggone mouth. What
Hmm.
I think happened is when you start to, like Will said, you can't find your happiness in other people. You have to find out within yourself.
It's not their
I think
responsibility.
it became forced on him to now have to seek that happiness outside of his marriage. And she is just finding people to quench her thirst in the moment
Yeah.
because she's not satisfied within her marriage. Do not be with people and then expect them to make you whole.
Right.
Come to the table already a prepared meal. Okay?
Right.
Do not ask nobody to add seasoning to your dish, honey. You are already the thing. You are the main course. You are the dessert. You are all that.
Hmm.
Do not depend on anybody. Do not get into these relationships and you're not whole. And then now the dude wants you to do X, Y, and Z. He wants you to do threesomes and anal and all kind of stuff that you're not into.
Hmm.
I'm serious. And you
Yeah.
sacrificing your true happiness and who you are and your dignity and your pride because you're willing to make someone else happy who's not willing to step outside of their confines and comforts to do the same for you.
Hmm.
And
Right.
that's the point I want us to get across on that whole situation.
I agree.
Okay, I appreciate it. So I'm gonna leave you guys on as I get ready to close out the show. So again, the question that I had, I think that we have really, really done a great job at answering that question. And that question was basically about the sanctity of marriage. And I think that we delved into the past versus the present and the legalization of marriage, as opposed to non-traditional type of relationships. So I think that we have gotten pretty far on this topic because hey, Mrs. VSN, thank you so much for coming in. Thank you for coming in. Um, so I think that we have really opened up the dialogue here, which is what my main purpose is always to do, is to open up the dialogue and just to learn something new, to open up our horizons, to expand our vision on things. And that's what I do on this platform, and that's what I will continue to do on this platform. So guys, Mel, Advice with Mel has a video that is set to come out in a little while, about 2:15. So please go on over to Advice with Me Mel's channel and check out her video. It's a good video. Go check it out. Let's just support. I appreciate all the new people that came over into this into my chat, into my channel, to see what it is that I am sharing. I hope that you guys come back and join me again, because I always have like really good topics. But also, if there's something that you want me to talk about, listen, hit me up on Instagram, CarolzCoachingCorner.com, or Carol's Coaching Corner, whatever it is on Instagram. You can DM me, whatever it is. I'm not going to shy away from any topic. So we can talk about it here. And Dolly, I want to thank you so much. If you guys have not checked out Dolly the Coach, go on her website, dollythecoach.net. Go on over. Girl, I remember it. Go on over, check her out. She has an amazing blog, guys. Like, I be in her blogs reading them, and I'm like, I feel like I'm in it. I want to keep reading and in the end. So go on over, check out her website. She is a phenomenal coach. I use her when I need help. So, and God knows I'm difficult. So go on over, check out my girl Dolly the Coach. Thank you, Feriana, so much for joining us. Make sure that you stay in touch because you are now officially a part of the family.
Thank you.
Officially, it's
Yeah,
official. You're here.
definitely.
That's it. You're one of us now. So, guys, thank you so much. Don't forget to go check out my merchandise, Carol's Gems and Things. There will be some new stuff coming out for the holiday: earrings, necklaces, bracelets, you name it, I got it. So yeah, until next week, guys, if you can dream about it, you damn sure can be about it. Have a good week, guys.
Bye.